Panels in the status quo, the environment is being destroyed at a rapid rate, right? Where we all know some parties are careless enough, proudly propose. Several points I would like to set up in this debate is that first, individuals here, meaning people from the part of the society, every each human existing in that society. We individuals already support so much harm to the environment, likely by our daily trashes and so on and so forth. This take daily action from those individuals, likely what they bought at the supermarket, using plastic products at the restaurant, and etc. And then the organization here would mean those companies who use plastic products in their products or even creates plastic products. They are even more massive since they are the distributor itself, starting from the factory, the man working, and etc. They create massive waste that they actually need to recycle. Second is that recycle here is an action to certainly help things not just being thrown from the very first place, on how people can later on maximize the use until it cannot be used anymore. Here especially we are talking about plastics, ever since it always been the main problem. Our goal is pretty simple, is that we clearly wanted to not only stop people from using plastic products, but on also how to maximize the use of plastic if we want to use it by recycling. It's been a problem ever since people are just using and throwing it. Some contents I would like to bring in this debate as my argument is that first, why is it justifiable for this action to happen, and second, the idea of responsibility itself. First argument is that why is it justifiable for this action to happen? First layer of explanation is that strong action, we believe, is much more efficient to actually help the earth. The problem in the status quo is much more efficient to help the earth. The problem in the status quo that people are not realizing how harmful plastic products in their daily life are, since they are simply just using it as what they wanted. People are lacking awareness from the very beginning, and for that reason we want to criminalize. Understand the idea of criminalizing, where we take their action as fault that is harming. Here in the context, they are harming the environment itself. How are we going to criminalize them? First, we will add this kind of environmental agreement or even rules into a law, so there will be certain punishment the moment people are not recycling, on especially what we are focusing today. To the individuals itself, for example, they will pay some fine, and for the company we can simply pull their rights to actually operate, so that later on they cannot produce any more of their products, they cannot fully gain profit anymore. Second is that how should they recycle, since recycling is not something that is very easy to begin with. People will tend to reduce their usage of the harmful plastic products itself. After that, we will certainly analyze trashes coming from several areas of settlement, where if they certainly throw plastic products without being recycled, they will get punished, since it's already in the law. We make it into a law. Checking company can be much easier, we say, where we would check their factory existing, for example, where they actually operate, where they actually produce things. Also on how they should deliver the government formally proposal they are doing to recycle the waste they created. If the recycle is not going as what they have been sending from the very first place, they will get punished, because they are not following the proposal they have been sending the government itself. Then why it would be so important for us to actually criminalize these actors? Most people don't know how to help the environment, or for example, used to non-eco-friendly lifestyle, and they are so difficult to change, like the action of recycling itself. Most companies keep destroying the environment without giving back to the environment itself, because it's so profitable. Governments usually can only follow those individuals and also organizations like a company, because it's just the way of easy living. Since the earth is dying, action should be done. Not only that, we are taking strongly action since notice on how the recycling mindset or education is never really that effective. Panels, people would still choose easiness over everything. Comparatively, the opposite side of the house will always fail on reducing, even muting the harm humans are causing to the earth. Since education and mindset we should reduce, reuse, and recycling is no more working. In our side of the house, it is much better the moment we use hard way, which was punishing, so reducing harm can be done progressively in our side of the house panels. Also, second layer of explanation is that the rise of people awareness. For example, people don't have to hardly change their way of living, but likely avoiding the damage, or even because they don't want to recycle, likely going to the supermarket with a tote bag, not a plastic bag, carrying reusable bottles, and etc. Company is being massive, so that they should regulate certain agreement, likely McDonald's, for example, and many other restaurants that don't use plastic straw anymore, changing their packaging into papers, and so on and so forth. Society finally shift into a sustainable green habit in our side of the house. Moving into second argument is that the idea of responsibility itself. First layer of explanation is that urgency. We are living in the world where nowadays the temperature is rising, the ice is melting, or even the circulation are getting worse. But why we should care about the environment itself? First, not only where we live, it is also always about continuity. We have birth rates every single day, even stepping into 8 billions of human living. Our responsibility making those newborn coming into this world is not only about how we are going to easier handle them since we have a better technologies nowadays, but on how they can live later on. World without trees, clean water, and extremely weather exists can be a worse situation where we ourselves don't want to be even put in those kind of situation. The world can be destroyed the moment people think, I don't choose this kind of life. Second is that when organizations like people who care for environment ask people to help the environment, for example, people rarely want to join things like this, join the movement, or even stop using their cars and take public transport, for example. But here our focus is reducing the plastic use. Certainly it's not that easy to actually remove those kind of habit. When companies are told to do major environmentally friendly things, like for example recycling this kind of plastic products they have been wasting, it's not that profitable for them. They should cost more money, and you cannot tell them to actually, oh, you should stop paying their workers they should pay more to their workers to actually recycle. And since it is hard things, we believe that it should be learned in a hard way. Strongly propose. Thank you.